My name is Artem Commission, and today I'm going to talk about a little bit about the new state template. I know if you've attended the previous WUG, we kind of briefly discussed some of the features of the template, and today I'm going to focus a little bit more about the template and cover it in more detail. So let's see. So you're aware that we've had several previous versions of the template, starting with the Fluid Design 2007 template. Then we had the Fixed Design 2010 template. And then most recently, the 2013 or Responsive Design template. And really, up until this point, we've been using the year to signify the template. But think of this template as a new beginning, because this template is really architected in such a way that starting from this point on, it's a major structural change, and your upgrade path is going to be much easier. So we decided to just call it, start using the version number, version 4. And really the idea is that because this is a major revision, this is the 4th revision of the template, anything from this point on is going to be backward compatible. And so, you're not going to see version 5 anytime soon, but you'll see a 4 dot something just because of the way we built it. It's going to be backwards compatible and migration friendly. So it'll also fundamentally change how we interact with the template, and it'll fundamentally change how you consume the template. Because it's built on the open source framework, the whole approach is very different. And also 4.0 is one version ahead of Web 3.0. So anyway, Web 3.0 is essentially where the web is going now. So some of the things I'm going to talk about and highlight are modern technologies that are built into the template, new features and modules. I'm going to talk about what microdata templates are, just kind of point out some of the easier migration that is built into this template, and also how we've improved the accessibility of this template. So I'm going to cover a couple of the technologies that this template's built on. So obviously, Bootstrap is really the most popular HTML, CSS, and JavaScript platform for building not only responsive websites, but mobile-first approach. So that's really key. As you know, most of the web traffic now, I think, is at 60% mobile, coming from mobile devices. So having a mobile-first approach is really key. So it uses other open-source software like Grunt and Less. And what that does for us is improves our development cycle and really makes it more efficient and future-proof. And the other key thing is you as webmasters or consumers of this, you don't really necessarily have to know any of this technology to take advantage of it. So now if you do want to get into it, reach out to us and we can send you a lot more information on how the template's built and structured if you want to delve deeper into it. So I'm just going to focus on a couple of the highlighted features, if you will. One of the things in the new template that we've incorporated is what's called a mega menu with an image. So you're probably used to the mega menu. This is a standard feature we had in the previous version, but in this version we've included an image. So as you can see, we have built in an image, and we're giving you an ability to, left justify, right justify, and kind of give you a few different sizes. That way, whatever your menu is trying to advertise, it just gives you a little bit more flexibility with that and makes your content a little bit more useful for whatever your unique scenario is. So that's definitely one new feature. Another feature is we've added a drop-down menu. So this is something that we didn't have previously, and this is just different menus will work for different purposes. So this is just another way to have a menu system here. It's a little bit more simple. Perhaps you have some kind of a featured image or hero image here that you want to take advantage of. This is just a different approach. So really, just trying to give you more options here. Let's see here. Another big thing is since our approach is more mobile first or mobile friendly, we've built in a off-canvas mobile menu, and this is something you should be used to seeing if you have your Facebook app or some other popular apps, or you visited popular websites. A lot of them have adopted this off-canvas style mobile menu, and I'm going to show you how that works in our template here. I'm just going to resize. And so as we size down, you can see it just slides open to the right. What's unique is you can put several more buttons here or icons if you want. You can also expand the links and have sublinks in the mobile menu, which is something we didn't have before. So it just you get a few more options with that. So that's kind of nice to have. Let's see. Moving forward. Another key feature that speaks to the whole responsive design or mobile first aspect is the multiple breakpoints. So this first screenshot here is if you're on a mobile device, and this perhaps could be like an iPad mini, a larger screen iPad or Android device, and then a full screen. So you have, by having multiple breakpoints, with the growing number of mobile tablets and devices, it's really hard to kind of program for device-specific, to be device-specific. Just too many out there to keep up. So really, the focus with this is by focusing on content breakpoints. You're really letting content drive. You're letting content drive how it's being displayed. So it gives you a lot more control. It allows you to give a lot more control over your content and layout. So really, that's another feature that, and actually I'm going to show you real quick how that works. Let's see here. So let's say this is full screen, and you start resizing. You see that break there, that jump? So that's one breakpoint, and then as you go down, there's another one. That's the mobile one. And because of the resolution here, I can't show you all the breakpoints here, but I think you get the idea. Whereas before, the main difference in the previous template is content would readjust. It was more fluid, right? But that means that you couldn't control how it would look in certain situations. With breakpoints, you really just have 3 or 4 scenarios where you can really control the layout of your content. So that's a really great feature. Just want to show you a little bit some of the actual content modules and components. So previously we focused on standardizing the header and footer areas of the templates. This time we're actually spending a lot more time and trying to standardize some of the content features of the template. And really it's just a way for you to give you a good starting point. So you don't start with a blank page. And we just kind of identified some common use content types that state departments run into. So I'm going to just jump in here and really quickly go through some of them. Now, and one thing I want to say is the site that I'm actually showing you all these things and features on is going to be hosted on WebTools. So WebTools, we're going to, when the template's released, we're also going to have a working version of this template, so you could see all the examples, and you could use that as a guide. You can actually literally copy and paste HTML if you want right from this site. But I'm going to just real quickly focus on some of the things here. So if you look at the content modules that we have things like contact widgets, course lists, right? Events, exam links. We have job lists. All kinds of different lists, a list that, for example, expand and just regular lists. Like, for example, here's a list that expands, right? Let me show you a few more features here. Well, like a course list, right? So if you have different training or classes, there's a way to display them. Now you might notice we have the HTML markup here in the source code, but also we have this tab called microdata. I'm going to speak to that just a little bit later. That's a whole different topic, but just kind of ignore that for now. Now we have various panels, right? So if you want to feature a course, you have a way to do that now within the standard template. Let's see, let me show you a couple of more here. So we have this, for example, a location, right? A standard way of displaying a location. If you want to display it in the right-hand column, you can do that. There's several ways of doing that. Various different ways of actually using your content. Let's see. If you want to dedicate a full page to a location, you can have a map, you can have a large banner image. So it's just giving you templates here for your content. News listings, right? Let's see. Various profile banners. So here's one where you could have the governor's banner here, and then you could have your top officials or executives. There's one way to do that.
How all do those widgets and parts that you put up there work in the mobile?
Yeah, so a lot of most of these widgets and content types. The question was, how do these work in the mobile factor? And they're all designed to actually adjust and work in the mobile in the responsive design. So we're keeping that in mind. We're not going to break this stuff for you. So it's definitely in the back of our mind with all of these features here. Let's see. So I'm really just probably running out of time. So as you can see, I've added a lot of stuff. So we've added some buttons for you. We've added various form styles, different carousels and slideshows. And they're all touch friendly, right? So if you want to have something even in the right-hand column, you could do that. Various different display types. Another neat feature is something that's called the icon font library. So you may be familiar with this, but there's this thing called icon fonts, and so what that does is increases performance on your website and prevents you from using too many images. So we've built a whole library of various icon fonts or symbols or icons, if you will, that you can use anywhere in your site. So it just makes your content much more interesting, and you don't have to use as many images. So that's another feature that we have for you. And these are all the different classes. So you could use this and change the colors, or like, for example, you see all the social, right? Social icons here. You don't have to go find a Facebook icon. You can just use that. So, and you're familiar with the panels here. These panels here, and another neat feature is one of these panels here actually has a tab rotation on the right-hand column, but essentially you have three different page types. You have this layout, then you have what's called the primary template, which uses this larger banner at the top of the page, and then you can add a column. So those are your basic three different layouts here. We've added a rotating header banner, so we've seen a lot of departments use that as their hero image here. So you can add as many as you want, although we recommend not to have too many. You can have a caption. You don't have to have a caption. You can have a link here. So that's just giving you more options. Various tabs, and actually you can have a tab display in the right-hand column now as well. This is actually thanks to a department. I think Department of Veterans Affairs actually had this, so thanks to them. And so, as you can see, we've really focused on standardizing a lot of the content, and it's not to limit you in any way. It's really just, if you use these modules, the upgrade path is going to be that much easier because it's all standardized. Real quick about microdata templates. This is going to be probably another presentation, but the key points I want to make is It's so important with the rise of intelligent services and things like Apple Siri or voice search on Android or Microsoft Cortana. Even Microsoft is actually making that part of their operating system, right? So, and all these intelligent services rely on smart data, so data that's marked up with microdata. So really, microdata is really a data that's has nested meta tags and metadata to label it so your results are relevant. So instead of, let's say you're on your phone and you're searching for how to do a driver license renewal, well, imagine if you're on a phone, you have to actually click on the link and then hope that that page is actually responsive. Whereas if you were able to do that with your voice, for example, you can get a result and it actually, you get the 7 steps it takes you to get a driver license renewal, right? So much more different here, different effect here, and much more relevant to your users. And so this is kind of like exciting thing. And if you look at our template here, a lot of these content modules actually say if they support microdata, and if they do, they actually show you the markup. And as I mentioned, this is going to be a separate session here to show you how to take advantage of this and the tools available for this. As you can see, it's there, and we're kind of moving forward that way. Even Tim Berners-Lee, basically the guy that created the World Wide Web, he views microdata as being really the future of the web itself, as the next logical progression of the web evolution. So it's really part of the semantic web movement, or Web 3.0, if you will. So that's really important to take advantage of that. And then just want to reemphasize the point that because we're using the semantically named tags, we're using these open source frameworks, your migration path is going to be that much easier in the future. And every version from now on will be backward compatible. So just think of it. If I was to mention one major feature of the template, that would be probably the biggest feature, is the ease of migration, right? Because it's such a huge effort to migrate from the previous template to the new one. Well, with this, starting from this point, even if our design and layout looks completely different, you're going to have minimal work to move forward and take advantage of that. It's just something that continually evolves. Of course, if you're in the CA Web CMS, then you won't even have to worry about migration because your content will migrate automatically. So with that, I'll open it up to questions. I actually did have another slide about accessibility. I'm just going to run through it real quick. But essentially, what it means is because we're utilizing Bootstrap's accessibility and it's run by the folks at PayPal, you know we're getting top quality work here. Things like better keyboard navigation, things like ARIA states, where when users are interacting with dynamic elements on the page, they're able to understand what they're interacting with much better. So there's a lot of benefits as far as that goes. And I know I'm probably way out of time, so I'm just going to open it up for questions. Yep.
Probably the million-dollar question. I don't know if I heard that. When will this be available on the web?
So we're planning to release this on Web Tools, and we'll send it an announcement by the end of this month. That's sort of the plan. Any other questions about the new template? Yes?
How well is it going to work with Windows?
It's really based on the browser. So it's going to support the latest version of whatever browser. Obviously, as new browsers come into play, there's different issues that arise, and it's kind of like a process, right? But we'll definitely have patches for you if there are some major issues, and we're always open to feedback. Any other questions?
When you modify the template in the future, are there going to be big version rollouts, or is it going to be done more component-wise?
Yes, we're trying to make everything component-based, and modular. That way, the actual core framework doesn't have to change significantly, and we're just adding different revisions and patches and things like that. So it really is going to fundamentally change the way we interact with the template. Any other questions? Okay, I think that's it. Thank you.